नानाच्छिद्र गडोदरस्थितमः दीपप्रभास्वरम् ज्ञानं यस्य तु चक्षुरातिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भान्तम् अनुभात् एतत् समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये. This is from the famous Dakshinamurti Stotram of Shankaracharya, which is translated by Ramana. Fourth shlokam. This is like a pot with 5 holes, and inside the pot a lamp is put, and the light from the lamp travels through these 5 holes. Like that, there is consciousness through the 5 holes of the 5 senses. Everything shines. I know, because which the entire universe, creation appears. Prostration to him, that Dakshinamurti, the embodiment of consciousness, my Guru, prostrations.
Thank you. Anyone wants to say anything? As Neelakantan ji just said, prostration to Dakshinamurti. We hear all these things: prostration, oblation, sharanagati. These words are very important. Whether you think you are on a Gyan Marg or path of knowledge or yoga or anything, humility and humbleness is very important. Because at the end, we have to dissolve ego only. Whether it is Gyan Marg or any Marg, if we have arrogance, how can we dissolve? And if we survive as ego, then we will never get that essence, that tattva, that knowledge. And Gyan Marg also just says that you keep quiet and accept whatever it is. That is dissolving ego only. But the best path, I believe, is doing both. Taking as a figure or as a formless absolute and surrendering to it. More complete our surrender is, earlier that knowledge blooms within us. Sharanagati, surrender. If you go into the essence, surrender to whom and what? Surrender to self, that which is not good. surrendering to the pure that which is tainted, surrendering to that eternal that which is transient, surrendering to that reality that which is illusion. Understanding at this level of knowledge is enough, because what you are surrendering, first of all, is an illusion. But for an egoistic mind, it could be only intellectual understanding that it is an illusion. So it does not accept it. Even though it accepts, it continues. Then I would say this is the cause of suffering. What harm in surrendering something which is causing you suffering? If you are holding an hot iron rod in hand, it is causing pain, and I am asking you to just release it. And you say, I don't want to release. But it's... So whose mistake is this? If we understand that this is the cause of suffering, then it is so easy. Our ego blames others' situation, my own fate, when I suffer. It never looks within to see that this ego, this false sense of self, is the cause of suffering. But once you know, let's say even intellectually you know, or in daily life, in practical life, you know that it is cause of suffering, then you are ready to surrender, or ready to give it up, or ready not to be at that level. And so ego can dissolve in Gyan Marga also, in path of knowledge. Right understanding is the most important thing. On path of devotion, things becomes much easier, because you treat something absolute pure and you think yourself as really of a very low level and weak, and you surrender because you know you cannot do anything. There's nothing in the hands of that egoistic mind to achieve that or to realize truth. So you surrender. And that at this level is absolutely true also, because ego cannot know the truth, and ego is definitely weak, because ego means individual. Individual is finite, transient, changing, have bondage of birth and death, while absolute is free. Absolute has no bondage. Absolute is infinite. It has infinite power. And when you realize truly that I can't do it, then you surrender to absolute. And if your surrender is complete, absolute accepts your surrender, and your surrendering makes you absolute. So I say that this is very easy in that sense, because where we are at egoistic level, surrender is a better option. So devotional marg or bhakti marg, path of surrender, is really good. And it's achievable by most of the people. So it is much more common. Especially in India, it is very common. I would say that almost like more than 90% would be following it, and rest would be following other paths. But on path of knowledge also, surrender is very important. If we use both, this dissolving of ego is very, very quick. More it dissolves, more there is unfolding of that pure energy from within your heart. It takes over control of body, control of actions. Everything is controlled by divine, and you don't know anything now. Perhaps you were knowing some things before surrendering, but now you don't know anything. As if you are in your absolute bliss and someone else is doing everything for you. And people come and report to you, look, it is all going very fine, and praising you. And you don't know anything. And you think how these people are getting fooled. I don't know anything and I don't do anything and still I get praise. And that is the truth. It happens like that. When that absolute takes over, then you don't know anything. Because your surrender is complete, you are happy whatever comes and goes. And because you are not doing so many hundreds of actions and intentions and thoughts, they all disappear. Because now there is no mediator. It is in direct control of the absolute, if you call it control. It's an empty house. No doer. So no doership. No one sitting and directing, as all the time it happens at ego level. Mind in form of thoughts assisting a person to act, not to act. Rather, sometimes confusing to do this or not to do this. And then you do that, and then another comment comes that I told you, you should not do this. Results are not right. So this is the thing what mind plays with ego, blame game. Sometimes it elevates you, sometimes it puts you down, but never in samat bhav, equanimity, that impartial state, that bliss. Mind takes away bliss from us. It can give us things maybe, name, wealth, fame, whatever. But one thing it takes away. The cost is peace, bliss. When this doer goes away, mind has hardly any role to play. And then the mind also realizes this beautiful bliss within. This mind was getting this bliss only when it was trying to achieve a desired object or being. And on getting it, it was coming back to the source. Now it is all the time in source. And this mind merges. It knows there is no point in doing unnecessary actions, coming through desires. Because what fulfillment of desire used to bring, it is already there all the time, eternally. Rather, even in adverse situation, that contentment is there, that bliss is there, that peace is there. You read any scripture, it talks about only one thing, that the primary aim of all human beings is to know the self, self-realization. I have never read any scripture of any religion that it says your primary aim is to gain money or name or fame or good health. Maybe, perhaps some might say good health, but not obsessed for it. But almost all says that our aim is to know the self. If they don't use the word self, they might use God, God realization. There is no difference. So if one understands this truth and goes on path of God or self-realization, then what is the obstacle? If you look into the obstacle, I would say there is no obstacle. When you go on this path, this prakriti nature, which we call Maya, illusion, that also helps. Your situation helps, and helps comes to your doorstep if you are really sincere. Everything helps. And why everything would not help? Tell me. Because if that is the aim, that is what that absolute also wants you to achieve, then why would it create obstacles? That means that absolute is dishonest. Do you think absolute is deceiving us or dishonest or wants to create obstacle on a path when you want to meet your beloved? Why would it do that? If you want wealth, perhaps you may or may not get. If you ask, if you pray that absolute, give me wealth. Maybe it might think if you get wealth, then you might move away from the path of self-realization. So, for that reason, it might not give you wealth or it might take away wealth. Let's say a child wants to touch boiling water, looking through those bubbles, and mother is trying to stop. The child might cry and would like to touch, but mother knows that it's not right for the child. Same, that absolute knows that probably wealth or whatever we are desiring is not good for us. But let's say you want God realization, you want self-realization, but you don't have capacity to gain it. Or right training, right understanding is not. But you really want that. Then definitely that absolute will help you. And it knows that you want, but you don't have right resources. So it will create resources for you. It will make sure that you achieve it. It will help you. Because that's the only ultimate aim. If you ask me, the only obstacle is our own mind in form of our own ego, which has other important things to do. Otherwise, there is no obstacle. It's self-created obstacle. If you are 100% convinced that you want to know who am I, then the real I in your heart will spring out. then there is no gap, no time. All practices are to increase your longing, nothing else. Because people believe, they have some faith, and they do some sort of meditation or practice. When they don't achieve desired results, they give up. But they don't understand that during their practice, they were not 100% devoted to it. They were interested in another 100 things. So the results were coming, but very slow. Like, let's say, if you are downloading 50 different things on home internet, everything gets slowed. But if you're only downloading one thing, then downloading is so fast. If your longing is only to know the self, and rest comes and goes, it doesn't matter to you, then it all happens at a super speed. Then there is no barrier. Our objects of desires are barriers, nothing else. Some people think that you need to know scriptures or shlokas or Sanskrit or that or this. There is no need. Sometimes reading too much, following rituals, all this delaying your realization. To gain materialistic things, we need some qualifications. To become a professor, you might need to be educated, or you might need to do research, or join a university. Or to earn wealth, you might have to invest, you need some money. You need to know knowledge. You need to have knowledge of that business. But to know that absolute, you just need to have longing. And he will pull you in. This is the purest desire one can have. Self-realization. Self is in all of us, in our heart. And that self is our reality. Whether we know it or not. This knowledge is not in the books. This knowledge is within us. When we are interested in this self, Self knows more than us. We can fool everyone, including our own self, but we cannot fool that absolute. When none of our action in life springs from ego, then this self unfolds. Understand this truth. And everyone can look within. And we can look into the day we have just spent today. What actions we were doing at ego level to satisfy, to have pleasure, to have indulgence, to have entertainment, to gain only for this individual. If answer is yes to anything, then you know you are your own obstacle. If you want to live at ego level, there is no problem. You can live this life, other lives, doesn't matter. But if you want to know the absolute in your heart, then you have to stop acting from this level. And choice is yours. Nobody is forcing you. And nothing wrong to work and live at ego level. There is nothing wrong. A lot of people at ego level, they do good stuff. They are good people. They have created beautiful things, helping people. But we are not talking here about helping others or being a good person. We are talking about self-realization. For self-realization, you have to give up that good doer also. Let's say you have done all good things in life. Now give up this doer also. We all know a lot of good people. They put on Facebook, on their websites that we have done this good, that good, this much in charity, these many projects. Now we have to give up that name. Internally, forever. And if we have courage to do that, intention to do that, then what will be left is that pure self. Understand, no technique can lead to that. So long your ego is there. Live a life of vigilance in which this ego cannot sprout. From smallest action to the biggest action, smallest intention to the biggest intention. when nobody is watching us? Do we still select the worst for this body and best for others? In all circumstances? And you will get the answer. Therefore, right understanding is most important for self-realization. It's not that whole day we keep doing japa, mantra japa or some practice and stay in this ego mode. Nothing will happen. One person called me and said to me that what you talk, Ramana Maharshi never spoke that. I can't help if that's what you want. I'm not a parrot. I'm not reading his book and telling you that this is what he said and then you can read why I would be talking to you. It's all written in books. You can read and you can do it. I have not written any book. I'm just telling you what truth is. Not from any book, or you call it book, it is the practical book of knowing the self. And giving you some advice, what I found useful, and where the problem lies. Perhaps maybe this is not important for everyone. For some people there might be something else which is an issue. I don't know. I can only tell what I know. If you look into Bhagavan's teaching, his teaching is silence. But if I say keep quiet, how many people can keep quiet just by listening once, keep quiet? If they can, then it's done. If the mind is so obedient that if you say keep quiet and it never comes out, then nothing needs to be done. Then I used to say, abide in pure awareness and stay as uninvolved witness. And people say, we don't know any awareness. Almost every day I speak to someone. People have no inner flowering. They don't know what awareness is. They only know mind. They only know ego. So we have to start at that level where you understand. One teaching cannot fit everyone. So there should be a tailored approach at an individual level. But then you are free to pick and choose what works for you. But only one thing I feel is very, very important is to understand where the problem lies in knowing the truth. And that is this ego, which makes us a person, an individual, and arrests our growth at this level of consciousness. Up to this level of consciousness, it is nature's job, from plant to birds to animals to human being. And after this, some grace, some efforts, and then it goes further up. And that this last step from an individual to impersonal presence is actually a big jump. It is jump transcending from time and space to eternity. It is like a rocket going out of the gravitational pull of Earth. It needs huge, humongous effort and help. But then we should also know what is issue here, why there is so much of pull to earthly things. Here this pull is of attachments and desires and interest. All practices are only preparations. Once you understand and you follow, then what practice is needed? Know your interest in things, where energy is going, where is the leakage, why there is consciousness not flowing upward. You will know it. I had a beautiful satsang with a year 10 student who is doing work experience with me. He is wearing a mala and is trying to do a pilgrimage sometime end of the year. And this morning was semi-finals of soccer. And there was a discussion with the patient, and he was surprised to know that I knew about this match. He thought I have no clue. And he asked me, "Are you interested in soccer?" I said, "Yeah, at least I know what is happening." And I said, "What about you?" He said, "I only look scores, though I had a little bit of desire to watch it. But I have been told that if you watch these things, your energy will pull into it and you will be attracted and you will like it. And then what I'm wearing is it's for God realization, to go deeper into that. Then my energy will go there." So I satisfied myself by just watching the scores. Now he is in year 10, and I think he has got some sort of education by parents or the way he's growing up. But he was so calm and cool, and his understanding was profound in that way. Yes, if you are too much indulging in anything, you become a soccer fan for a club, you can even kill someone else from other club. You can be so passionate about it. And he's trying to, and look, he's a child. He has interest in so many things. He's giving some energy to it, but not too much, and still staying vigilant. We all can be vigilant in our own way. You can still be doing something, but not that involved in it. That it's pulling your energy there. Keep your attention on the self with total acceptance of whatever is unfolding in life for this body. And see, there is no contradiction between these two things. The body can move, can accomplish things, and your attention is on pure self, as pure self. This is the first time when you are moving the way the divine has planned. So there is no resistance. Your plan and divine plan is the same. And so there is harmony and peace. Because when there is no doer, no ego, then who is complaining if something is not happening in the way you desire? Because there is no you desire, there is no desire, there is no you. So everything is bliss. And same when things are not happening the way you want, or the way others think it's not right, then there is no you within who is wanting results in a way, so no one is feeling bad. Perhaps people around you might feel that you had a tragedy or a financial loss or something, but you don't feel anything. Because there is no you. Know that that small I has disappeared. When that I disappears, then there is no suffering. And that I has to disappear because it is fake. If it is real, it will never disappear, whatever practice you do. Or how much longing you have, it will stay if it is real. Only real stays. You are that real. And you are always that real, even when you think you are that fake ego. And remember, this is all or none. Either you are illusion or you are real. You can't be both. If you are 100% committed to real, only real will stay. Because real cannot go. When we choose ego, real still is there, but we don't perceive it. That is why self-realization is irreversible. You cannot go back to ego. Because ego is like mirage. You know it is fake, then it cannot stay. It cannot come back. If it comes back, that means it never went away. Keep your energy on that silence, which is always flowing from within. It appears that sometimes this silence is interrupted by thoughts. Sometimes thoughts with strong feelings and emotions. But it's not true. Silence is flowing eternally, all the time. Just like sun is shining even when there is overcast, clouds, raining. Be with that silence. Silence is self, silence is God. Allow this silence to manifest from within you. This silence has no relationship with external silence or noise. It is divine silence. It is divine language, originating from your heart, and it's everywhere. Be with it all the time. Always give importance to this divine silence, then your thoughts, then your actions, then your dealings with the world. And one thing you will realize, when this silence takes over, so many times you will have no intention to speak about something which you know 100%, and someone is talking rubbish, but still you don't want to talk about it. You have no interest in any type of argument or winning an argument, though you can easily do it now with that power of silence. And if a need arises, it might also happen. But I'm just telling you, you are so contented and peaceful in your own silence that you avoid all unnecessary conversations. I know people in self-realized states, they say we only want to talk to kids. Talking to adults is like a punishment. So it is not surprising that so many sages and saints, they open schools. Like in Melbourne, there are Steiner schools, and other also have opened. Krishnamurti opened a school. Egolessness is like a child. You're back to your childhood state. Egolessness is childlike innocence. Ego is all acquired, while innocence is our innate nature. Stay in this beautiful energy of your own pure silence. Respect it. Respect, be a devotee of it. Love it. Your interest in it will keep increasing it. It unfolds from within. It's always there. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sanjay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you.